Hi everybody, welcome to The Limit Breakdown, and today we are going to be discussing the first two episodes of the new Disney Plus show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a Star Wars story. It's a continuation of the prequel saga, taking place 10 years after the prequel movies. So let's roll right into it. As you can see, my colleague and I are separated by a little bit. We're having some technical difficulties, so we're just trying to keep a little bit of a distance, and I appreciate him not getting me sick.
Coronavirus.
But let's roll right into it, man. What were your thoughts on the show?
Yep. So, but I really enjoyed the show so far. Obviously, I'm very excited that Ian McGregor has made a return for his reprising his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi, as well as Hayden Christensen is also going to be returning as Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker. Obviously, for nostalgia purposes, I'm super excited for the show. I actually genuinely loved the prequels. I think a lot of them have aged way better in time. Obviously, when they first came out, people were like, I don't know, but I think they have aged really well. The show so far seems very intriguing. I'm intrigued to see which direction they go. The villains so far, the Inquisitors that are after the Jedis, are basically killing all the Jedis at this point. They seem very interesting. I love their lightsabers. The handle with a little circle. I think it looks awesome, and I think at one scene he was able to spin it, which I think is amazing. So as a Star Wars fan, I think it's going to be a really good show so far. What about you?
I'm very excited to see where the show leads to. The Inquisitors were first introduced in Star Wars Rebels, so they're a part of that existing canon from beforehand. So this is their first live action appearance. So I'm very excited. What seems to be, I guess, the main villain Inquisitor that's causing all the ruckus, Reva. She's an original creation for the Obi-Wan show, but the Grand Inquisitor, the bald-looking guy with the thing, he is his backstory is actually really cool. He was a temple guard at the Jedi Temple, and he actually fell to the dark side before Order 66. So that's pretty interesting. And then some of the other Inquisitors had made appearances before on the Star Wars Rebels show. So far, I like the direction that they're taking it in. I like that, Obi-Wan wasn't shown, as coming in and being, super overpowered. I love how broken down and weathered they made him. It's been 10 years, and the weight and the guilt of the failure of the Jedi, you can see it clearly weighing on him. The one scene where he's cutting up the meat, I guess he's, Obi-Wan Kenobi has a day job now. But
working that 9 to 5.
I mean, I guess work doesn't pay the bill.
yeah. And to piggyback on what you said, Ian McGregor's acting, and just if you see the original movies, every time he's appearing on screen or what he's doing, he still has that twinkle in his eye, especially when he's like, "Hello there." But this time you could just see it's gone. He's just not having it. He just looks decrepit and just drained of life and energy. He just cares about one thing, and that's looking out for Luke. Beyond that, I just want to feed my camel. That's about it. So it's very interesting.
He's really smart, man. The scene that I was referring to, he could have very easily stood up and made a ruckus, when that guy wasn't getting fair treatment, but he let it slide. And even when the Inquisitors first arrived and they were about to kill that one Jedi, he realizes that he has a mission that's higher and that's more important than what saving this one Jedi could potentially do. And it's one of those, like, it's a morally gray area for what they're trying to do. Like, you know, we're taught to believe that, you know, the Jedi would do the right thing above all, but it's a very interesting to see, you know, the lengths of what, you know, actually surviving takes against the Empire.
Yeah, definitely. In one of the scenes where another Jedi approaches him, he's like, "Hey, we can fight back and everything, you know, why don't?" And then you can tell in his eyes, and including the other Jedi, is like, "What the hell happened to you?" He's like, "You were such a great fighter." In the intro, they mentioned that that Obi-Wan was as strong as almost as strong as Mace Windu, and as in touch with the Force as like Yoda and things like that. And it's just, you know, all he cares about now is just taking care of Luke, and supposedly at least training him when he's ready. But as far as the direction they're going in this show, I'm very excited. I'm very excited how it's going about. So one of the things that I thought about was, Star Wars Rogue One is actually one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, really good.
Out of the new age movies, and even then, Rogue One is why I have a huge puzzle, which is, I think it's like 3 foot by 2 foot puzzle piece of Rogue One. It's one of my favorite movies. Where does that fall in the timeline? Because that movie is also between episode 3 and 4. Right? I mean, I know it happens clearly right before 4 because that's how they get the schematics, but this is 10 years after the third movie. So do you know where that is?
So, episode 4 takes place 30 years after the events of episode 3.
Gotcha.
So, from my understanding, Rogue One, I think, takes place 5 years before the event of episode 4.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So this is still a prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah.
By at least 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. This is the groundworks of the rebellion. Like,
yeah,
the rebellion hasn't even really started to take shape.
Took off yet. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of these characters, you know, show up in Rebels, and Rebels takes place 10 years before the event of episode 4.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, another thing what I found interesting, which I don't know how I feel about this. So obviously, right now, the last thing that happened was episode 2. Was they introduced Leia being a super adventurous child who just does whatever the hell she wants, which very Leia fashion. I think the little girl they got to play her did a bang up job.
I loved her. I absolutely loved her.
Yeah. So when her father Bail asks Obi-Wan to help them, I understand why he kind of backed out, and he's like, I don't want to help you because he's lost his spark to be that, to be a Jedi, to be that savior. However, what did make sense to me, at least in the beginning, was he's going out of his way to look after Luke, right? Even Uncle Owen was like, bro, just back off, let us live our normal life, let's just live farmers, right? And he's like, no, I want to train Luke when he's ready, I want to look after him. And clearly, Obi-Wan is going to go out of his way to make sure Luke's okay. Why not do that to Leia? Right? So why, canonly, that part didn't make sense to me. I mean, I understand he doesn't want to be heroic and do the Jedi things, but when it comes to the child, and you know the child is in danger, why not help?
I think there's a little bit of a real world explanation, and there's a little bit of the Star Wars fiction explanation. I
want to know the fictional explanation first.
The fictional explanation, I think it's more to do with the fact that realistically speaking, he could only train one. Like, they would really have to hedge his bets, and because if he tried to train both of them, it exposes both of them to be picked up by the Empire, and yeah, Their force potential, either one of them, is that of equal to Anakin Skywalker's. Like, they never mentioned it, and I know it's one of those things that people hate about, the prequel stuff, but like, I guarantee you their midichlorian count is through the roof. So like they're but
I mean,
the midichlorians was just another way of saying like their force potential. So I guarantee you that both of their force potential is through the roof. So he just kind of hedged his bet that he could keep Luke tucked away on Tatooine, and that Leia would be, because it wasn't like she was hidden. Leia was the daughter of a renowned senator. So,
and she's training to be the next senator or the next chancellor, or whatever.
With Leia, it's a little bit of hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
So that public persona shielded her for a long time from being able to be detected. What I liked with the little girl that they chose to pick Leia was how. And this is one of the things that is not very touched upon with Leia's characterization, but how she's very force sensitive, and so like, what comes off as being perceptive, right? Like, you would say, oh hey, she's picking up on social cues, she's picking up on, but no, she's legit mind reading.
Yeah, yeah. When she had that scene with her cousin, and she's like, well, you don't like this because of your father, and you copy your father say, I'm like, you're just like, there you go. She would be a great psychologist. Great psychologist. Here's why you're depressed. Here's your inner demons. This is why you drink. Boom. Give me some credits. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that they showed that implement, but I just think that it's more or less Obi-Wan hedging his bets and realizing that he could only really train one of them at a time. The real world interpretation is, I think when they came up with the concept of Luke and Leia, the boy was the one that was going to be the warrior.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't until the episode 5 or even 6 where they mentioned that there's another that she was,
So I did like the characterization of Leia. I like how sassy they made her. Like I said, I love that they implemented little tidbits. Like, she wasn't overtly force sensitive. She wasn't like levitating or lifting shit, but she was, like I said, the intuitiveness, the mind reading thing. I mean, she did it to Obi-Wan, so that was pretty awesome. And I liked, because it was, maybe I'm misremembering, but I remember in the in episode 4 in A New Hope, like when she sent out R2-D2 to look for Obi-Wan, it didn't seem like that was the first time they were meeting.
I actually thought about that while watching the show. I was like, well, if they meet, I mean, there have definitely been certain continuity issues throughout Star Wars, obviously because the first one was made in the 70s, and I understand a few things here and there, human error, but this one did make sense to me, because at first I was like, well, how is she already going to meet him? I would understand if she doesn't remember him, but he's clearly going to remember her. And then I thought about, obviously, the opening scene of Star Wars, the first famous line, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for that, right? Now,
for them to have had at least an encounter.
Yeah. Now, my question, so this is another thing for the continuity that doesn't make sense, right? Obviously, R2-D2 and C-3PO have been in more or less every single movie and every single interpretation. When Ben Kenobi first meets the droids, he's like, I don't ever remember having droids. Yeah. Right? Now, they wiped R2-D2 and C-3PO's memories in Episode 3, so they don't remember them.
I remember I think they wiped C-3PO's memory. I don't think they wiped R2-D2's.
Oh, okay. I thought it was both. But they wiped them, so I would understand if they don't remember him. So that's, I think in this show, they're somehow, hopefully, if they fix it, they're going to remedy why he doesn't remember them in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe that's just going to be a continuity error that they never touch upon. It's a very minor thing, but to me, like, for people that are like diehard fans, like small things. I mean, look at the background. Look at your background. Look at your background. For people that are diehard fans, there are certain things like that just kind of like, okay, it doesn't bother me, but
are you ready for this?
Yes, my rant is done.
I don't think it's a continuity. I don't think it's a continuity error.
Why?
Because Obi-Wan says, "I don't remember having owned a droid." He didn't say that he didn't know this droid. He said he doesn't remember having owned a droid. And if you look at that particular moment, right? At that particular moment, what was Obi-Wan's objective? Obi-Wan's objective was to gain Luke's trust. Was to get him to leave his life behind on Tatooine and join him on this grand adventure, right? Mm-hmm. Had he come out and been like R2 or I remember an R2 unit like this one, it would have caused Luke to ask a lot more questions, and it might have created a situation to where it might have been more difficult. Like had a notorious thing with Obi-Wan was the fact that he lied to Luke about Darth Vader from the beginning. He didn't tell Luke, hey, Vader's your father. He said, your father was a Jedi that was killed by Darth Vader. So
Darth Vader's Luke's dad? What?
Spoiler alert. Sorry. Spoiler alert for a 50-year-old movie. But yeah, so in that I don't think it's a continuity error. I think it was one of those lie by omission situation. He never said that he didn't recognize R2 or that he just said, "Oh, I don't remember having owned a droid," which is
I don't know. I think that's digging into. That's like the author wrote the curtains were blue. Why did the author write that the curtains were blue? Was it because the author was upset? Was the character upset?
I think it's an easy
or maybe the curtains were just blue because that's the curtains were blue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but at the end of it, even if they did want to it's a minuscule thing, and I think it would be something easy to retcon. One thing I did want to point out. Let's talk a little bit about the Inquisitors. Mm-hmm. If you notice the opening scene of Episode 1, right? Mm-hmm. They focused on a group of younglings that was trying to escape the Jedi Temple at the start of Order 66, right?
I thought they were going to start off that episode with killing younglings. By the way, that's how I thought that show was going to go. But anyways, continue. But
you notice the little black girl that they focused on, right?
Yes, that's we run.
So I mean it's not exactly Sherlock Holmes level discovery, but I think that's Reba, and I think that the reason why she has such an obsession with Obi-Wan Kenobi is because she was one of the older younglings at the Jedi Temple at the time. If you remember, Obi-Wan...
I see where you're going.
Obi-Wan and Yoda came back to the temple and put that beacon that was warning all of the Jedis to stay away from the temple. So what if these were a group of younglings that were trapped inside the temple somehow, and by Obi-Wan putting that message, it basically stranded them on the temple and doomed them. And so... And
I also think the other children died,
right,
because obviously at Anakin's hand, and she blames Obi-Wan because her friends died or something.
Yeah.
One issue with that theory. Mm-hmm. She specifically knows that Anakin is alive, that Anakin is Darth Vader, and she's like...
Are you ready for my tin hat?
Oh god.
Okay. So we see the scene where in episode 3, right? Mm-hmm. Where he kills the younglings, right?
Yeah.
What if he didn't kill all of them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So she happens to be one of them that he didn't kill.
No, but what I'm saying, like, you've seen The Force Unleashed, right? I mean, you played The Force Unleashed, right?
Bits and pieces of it, yeah.
Okay, but you know the main concept is he takes on a secret apprentice.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just named Apprentice, right?
Yeah, his name is Starkiller, but
Apprentice.
or Galen Merrick to be more specific. But yeah,
That's okay. I didn't know his name, but okay.
but anyway, yeah. So it's not unheard of for Darth Vader to take a secret apprentice. It would be a big change for him to have done it from the offset. But remember when right before Anakin fought Obi-Wan, right? He was talking to Padme, and he's like, "Look, we can overthrow the Emperor. I'm stronger than the Emperor. We can overthrow him." So he was already having, thoughts about like taking over. So who's to say that he didn't? When he went in there, he might have found a youngling with particular potential that he thought, "Hey, I'm going to spare you. I'm going to tuck you away and hide you." And so she has some type of personal relationship with Anakin. And that's why she knows that he's Vader.
Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense too. Fair.
So, I mean, it's obviously complete
Possible
total
theories.
speculation. But I mean, it was very interesting that she knew exactly who Anakin was, and I loved the way Ewan McGregor sold that, like the emotion on his face, like the
he's like, oh shit, he's alive, because after 10 years.
And again, kudos to the great acting job that he did, because the pain, not even the surprise, it looked painful when he heard he's alive.
Yeah,
Anakin Scott, you could see the pain in his eyes.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing with the Inquisitors. I like what they're what the first 2 episodes have seen. I'm excited to see the next few episodes.
Do you know how many episodes there's supposed to be?
6, I believe.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, probably going to watch the 3rd episode when we get done here.
Fair enough.
But any final thoughts?
No, I'm just genuinely very excited to see which direction they take. Obviously, huge fan of Ian McGregor and Hayden Christensen. I think so far they're doing a good job of bringing the emotional aspects to the character. So I'm genuinely excited to see where this goes.
that final scene. I am glad that they didn't rush throwing Vader into the show from the very beginning. I'm glad that at the end of episode 2, all we got was the little glimpse of Vader in the Bantha tank.
Yeah.
And that was enough. Like, oh, yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do, because you know how in the beginning of the show they kind of went over the prequels, basically. They kind of went over the basic relationship with Vader putting on his final suit and doing the breathing. The one thing that I remember from episode 3, which I cringe at till this day, is the last line where he's like, "What about my wife?" or "What about Padme?" And Sidious is like, "Oh, she's dead," and he has this cringe-worthy scream, "No!" And I was kind of waiting for that no to just echo in the back. But yeah, super excited. Let's see where this goes.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching our content, and we'll catch you guys next time. Hi everybody, thanks for watching our content. As we gear up to continue having our channel grow, we're nearing our 100th subscriber. We're doing a giveaway for this great Stan Lee collectible. We're very excited about this. If you want to be eligible to win this bad boy, need you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment under the video. That way we can choose the winner as soon as we get to that 100th subscriber. We're very excited for the upcoming content. We've got lots of movies that are coming out that we're going to review. We're very, very excited. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.
If you like our videos, please subscribe and hit the like button.